Now, here's the prime focus on India today. A shocking incident has come up from Bikaner in Rajasthan. A 13-year-old girl has been gang raped by 8 of her school teacher for 1.5 years. She's blackmailed into silence. They also took nude photographs of her, and the only reason that her ordeal has come to light is because she was diagnosed with blood cancer recently, after which her parents have lodged an FIR. But it's been 48 hours and these accused are still on the run.
It was 1.5 years of horror for the 13-year-old minor from Rajasthan's Bikaner district, who was repeatedly gang raped, filmed and blackmailed by 8 of her school teachers. She was also force-fed abortion pills when she became pregnant. What's worse is that the incident came to light only a few months ago when the teenager was diagnosed with blood cancer.
स्कूल भेजता था, स्कूल में चाय पानी के बहाने या उनको भेज करके ये लोगों ने बहुत गलत न्याय किया बच्ची के साथ.
An FIR was filed only after 1.5 years of assault, as the monster teachers threatened the family of killing their daughter if they exposed them.
मेरे को 2016 के अंदर चला था, लेकिन मैं समाज के डर के लिए मैंने बताया नहीं किसी को. ये मेरे को आने जाने में कितने निकलने ही नहीं देते, तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ सर.
While the 8 teachers accused of gang raping the teenager are absconding, the school management is silent over the issue. The opposition is slamming the Vasundhara Raje government over the increasing number of rape cases.
Although the police has registered an FIR, not much headway has been made in the case, as the accused are currently absconding. With Ronak Vyas in Bikaner and camera person Nikhil Sharma, Devankur Vadhavan in Jaipur for India Today.
Anika Malhotra, who's principal of Kalka Public School, is joining us. Also joining us very shortly will be Trisha Shetty, who's a lawyer and women rights activist. Anika, the statistics are quite alarming. The NCRB in 2015 has said around 8,800 rape cases of children has been reported. 95% time it is the known person who approached the children. And why is it that the schools increasingly are turning into predatory ground for such monster teachers? What can the schools do to ensure that they are safer haven for children?
You see, such kind of crime committed by teaching community, I mean, it's such a heinous crime, that too by teaching community, under whose banner, under whose hand the students are supposed to nourish and flourish. Until we name and shame these people, until we strip them of their qualification degree, until we make sure that they are punished, these things will continue and the status will go on and on and on. It's high time we started, the kind of changes that we made after the Nirbhaya case and other things. Why are we not implementing?
In fact, Anika, you did have Protection of Children Against Sexual Offences Act of POXCO that was introduced in 2012. And it's interesting because Trisha is joining me. Trisha, the fact comes down to this, that every time such cases come out, there is a debate on it. Finally, the administration is shaken up into action, but conviction rate remains abysmally low. In this case, in fact, POXCO alone, since 2012 to 2015, that's the data that is available, the conviction rate in Rajasthan alone has just been 2%. 2% in sexual crimes related to children.
The situation is horrible. We've had multiple studies that say that child sexual abuse is a huge problem in India. And right now, even under the POXCO Act, the offence described here as aggravated penetrative sexual assault. The burden of, proving innocence is on the accused in cases of child sexual abuse. It is not for the victim or her family to prove that the assault has happened. It is for the perpetrator to prove that he did not abuse the child. So it's absolutely abhorrent that we have such low conviction rates. Again, we're talking about the most vulnerable being sexually abused children is what we're talking about. And even in this case, the offence comes under section 376D, gang rape, which is 20 years minimum. How often do we see sentences being meted out that match the severity of the crime
and in fact, Trisha, in this case, let me get my colleague Devankur here, because he's been tracking this particular case from Bikaner in Rajasthan. In this case itself, even as the FIR has been lodged, it's been 48 hours and accused is still on the run. Devankur, what is the latest that you're getting from the investigating agencies right now?
Well, the latest, Devina, is that the accused teachers continue to be absconding. They have not been caught as of now, although the district police has issued summons to the school management. The school management so far has not responded. In this entire matter, the most shocking part is that not just the sexual assault happened, but it happened over a period of 17 months.
Yes.
So clearly, either the school management was unaware of it or was in collusion with the teachers who went ahead and allegedly sexually assaulted this particular minor girl for a period of 17 months. She was pregnant. She was forced to abort. She was made to swallow abortion pills and abort. So clearly, someone who is already suffering from blood cancer, that person being made to undergo sexual assault for more than a year clearly tells you that that there is not enough that is being done in schools that can provide confidence to students that they can come up with.
So Anika, in fact, this question goes directly to the schools as well. What do we do to keep our children safe? Parents are also trusting the schools where they're sending their children. Many parents are now a working couple, do not have time. Most of the time they've entrusted school with the responsibility that their kids would be safe, and schools are letting them down. How can we have our children safe in schools?
You see, it's mandatory for a school administration to make sure when the school opens, you have sufficient staff inside the school. The child or the children are not alone while the school reopens, and once it closes down, the guard or the security or the administrator has to make sure that each and every room is empty and locked. I mean, this is a basic duty of all schools. We have been doing that in most of schools in Delhi or wherever you find it. But it depends on the kind of staff, the backup, the follow-up, the cameras. These are mandatory for schools to have. So if these things were there in school in place, I don't think so there was this could have happened right under the nose of the school administration.
But a lot of times, Anika, we're also talking about the infrastructure that is lacking, the basic infrastructure that is lacking even in schools. At time when we're talking about a blackboard and normal classrooms are missing from schools, can we look at safety of children first? Now, Trisha, this is the question to you as well. Now, do you believe when such cases come to light as well, it is a responsibility of the parents as well, because somewhere down the line there is a communication gap. For 1.5 years, this child is going through a trauma. She's not been able to speak to anyone at all. Do you believe that parents now also need to cultivate that relationship so that children are able to share everything in the first instance with them?
It's important to address two important things when it comes to child sexual abuse cases. One is understanding, institutions such as an education institute. Any abuse that happens in that context is looked at abuse happening to a person in a position of trust and authority. Hence, such cases are automatically, looked at as aggravated. When it comes to parents, of course, we need parents to have open conversations with their children. There's an amazing open source video called Komal that talks about child sexual abuse. Parents need to have these conversations because, trust me, working on ground, I've had multiple cases.
Okay, so in this case, absolutely, Trisha, absolutely. And Devankur, in this case as well, we've heard there is a heart-wrenching reaction of the father of this child who said that he wasn't aware of what was going on in the school. He wasn't aware that his child was going through this ordeal. It was only after there was a treatment and a diagnosis of blood cancer that was done that this matter came to light medically. Have you been able to speak to the family as well, that why is it this child was silenced into submission, and did she show any signs of going through this kind of a trauma through 1.5 years?
Well, Devina, what we have been given to understand is that these teachers not just sexually assaulted the minor girl, but also made video clippings of that assault to blackmail the girl into submission. So it was very apparent that whenever the girl tried to raise her voice, she was forced into submission. She was told that there was enough incriminating things that were available with the teachers as per them, which they can use against her. Now, when the entire matter came to light, the girl's father tried to confront the school management, but then there was a wishy-washy response from the school side, and thereafter the girl's father approached the superintendent of police, and that is how the FIR got registered. So it's very apparent that that such a large number of teachers were involved in this allegedly, and entire assault,
Absolutely.
the entire was continuing for over a year's
Eight teachers,
time.
Ankur, 8 teachers were involved in this for 1.5 years. This entire trauma this child had to go through. So, Anika, isn't it also responsibility of the schools to ensure that the background checks are done on their teachers? They're also kept under a constant scrutiny as far as safety of children are concerned.
See, there are certain parameters and we can't cross those. If a teacher applies for employment in the school, yes, we check the qualification, they see how they're teaching, their behavior, they have in-service teachers training, we have seminars. Beyond that, after school hours, I think the check cannot be kept, one. Yes, the parent also, the mother specifically, they need to be educated as to why a girl child is suffering on something, why the child is not able to speak to the mother. Even if she has had to go through an abortion, like had to have pills, I'm sure the child must be facing some physical abnormalities. But the mother should have taken care about that too, despite the fact, yes, the school is responsible. But beyond school hours, what happens then to the child? That's another question which the parents, I'm sure, should address. And the child as young as 13 years?
No, but Anika, here is also the point that these are the teachers from the school itself, and they in fact invited the child after school, clicked the pictures of her, and they continued the torment even as the child was studying for 1.5 years. So no signs at all from the school management at this point of time in cooperating with the probe, because we've tried to ask them questions at what exactly happened. Why were these teachers not also checked for their behavior? There is no answer coming forward. But thanks so much for joining us, Anika, Trusha and Devankur. Continue tracking this story, an appalling state of our schools where teachers are turning predators against the young children. Continue following the latest on the story.